worlds are in danger.
You know what was so cool about Transformers 1, apart from all of it? It's that it's not just G1 that exists. There were shoutouts to a lot of different aspects of Transformers history. We had appearances from post-G1 characters, IDW comic story beats, some design choices from animated, some locations from the video games, and even shoutouts to the Bayverse with Jazz getting ripped apart. Someone else got ripped in half in his place though. And one that particularly tickled my pickle was some references to the Unicron Trilogy. Which, man, we've come such a long way since the days of the G1ers declaring the Unicron Trilogy being worse than Space Hitler. And then Michael Bay got declared Hitler multiple times. Was that how we did criticism back in the day? Guess some things never change. Like, we see Primus in his design from Cybertron, aka the best design, don't even try to stray from it. And I saw my boy Vector Prime again, who gets killed really quickly and has a really crap helmet. Let's look at his figure. So on first glance, you can immediately see what makes Vector Prime so great, and that's his visual language. Before him, you really didn't get a crazy amount of regal-looking medieval-themed Transformers, and you still don't. Not that there are none, but they're typically more so villainous robots like Galvatron, and even they are still hard into the sci-fi look. I think the most we got is Dragonstorm from the Last Knight. You know, those boring idiots who every time I look at them, I keep thinking they're Hero Factory rejects? No thanks. That's not the case with Vector Prime. His color scheme is delightfully simple. He's just black and white with gold and red trims, but it just works so well. He looks so clean and tidy, and the cyber detailing is understated, but adds a lot of punch to it. This guy looks like a Grand Elder Knight who maintains a sense of class while kicking ass, which is essentially Vector Prime's character in the Cybertron show, so it really works. Get a load of those shoulder pads and arm pads. How does he not get trapped walking into a door? I don't think he even cares. The boots, I gotta mention, not only are they wonderfully round chili boots, but he's got gun toes. So silly, but wonderful. How would these even be properly utilized? All right, Vector Prime, let me just get a look at those toes. Hey, what the? The chest is this badass hole packing the sacred red skittle inside. And his head is one of my all-time favorites. Just a big trapezoidal noggin with an excellent helmet and chin going on. It looks rugged, but very gentlemanly. This is definitely something where I feel like one fumbled a bit. This guy's an elder statesman, not a Spartan soldier. He's not a diddler for one. Also, the wings for his spaceship as a cape are a stroke of genius and look very clean and swish. Shame the back is very wowza. Vector Prime is carrying a whole coffin on his back. I half expect the Undertaker to pop out. It does make the figure look a lot clunkier than it needs to, and looks especially bad on side profile, but he still looks nice for the most part. And he can store his weak rubbery sword in the side as well. And is that a Minicon? Yep, this here is Safeguard, a little Minicon spaceship that teams up with Vector Prime. He doesn't activate anything, but he's just there to be cute. He's Prime's little friend. Thank God he's not a Spartan in this one. I just love it because by this point, Hasbro was easing up on the Minicons, so it's nice to see them stay alive, considering by this point, it was all about the Cyber Keys. The Cyber Keys were essentially these plastic keys that would trigger the gimmicks of the figures, and Vector Prime's is pretty awesome. You plug his key into his chest and nothing happens because the electrics are dead. I tried to clean out the battery compartment and I did unscrew the back to have a look, but I don't want to mess with things too much. If it did work, it would sound something like this. Missile thankfully works at the back.
Oh, I missed!
Articulation is solid enough for the time. With a 360-degree rotating head, some actually really nice arms even with the chunky armor. No waist pivot sadly, and the legs are alright too. They can split rather well and they have some serious muscle in them to keep him standing, but he's not going to be raising them very high. No intense yoga for grandpa here. Also, the feet can rotate all the way back for some reason. They only need to go halfway for the transformation. Not sure imploded ankles are a good thing for a Cybertron warrior. Also, I'm a simple man. I get clicky-clacky ratchet joints, I'm a happy man. Tell you what else makes me happy? This pose of the week. Transformation is one of the simpler ones for Cybertron, which is kind of funny to say. Cybertron's transformations can be all over the place, from rather tricky titans to basic babies. Though chunking the legs is always fun. And this starfighter is really cool. It's funny how this is essentially Vector Prime hunched over wearing his backpack on his head, because it all looks surprisingly grand, even with obviously exposed robot arms. But hey, we get that all the time with other plane formers. There's wheels for rolling about, the wings have articulation, he's armed to the teeth, he's got a cockpit, so all you idiots who defend crap Cybertronian vehicles by saying, "Oh, why do they need a window if they can transform?" can piss off. This really fits the bill of a Victorian or medieval sci-fi ship really well, and that's an aesthetic we don't always get. Like there's steampunk and all that, but the robots there look too cluttered sometimes. Warhammer 40k robots are cool, but that's for a more militaristic aesthetic. Also, Warhammer 40k is dog shit. I think the only one I've ever seen that pull off the regal look was Escaflowne. Check that out, great anime. And check out Cybertron 2. It's a really good show with fun comedy, actually likable human kids, cool set pieces, and of course, Vector Prime himself, where he actually gets to stay alive most of the show. It's no fair. Sentinel gets to keep coming back, but this medieval megabot doesn't get to join the cast ever. So that was Vector Prime. I wish the electronics worked, but ultimately, I still love this figure. He has an undeniable presence and play factor that's just fantastic. He fits the build of a Valorant Victorian Victor really well. Now, ordinarily, this would be the part where I'd compare him to a modern figure, and I do have his legacy figure here, but, no. Look, I want to be fair here. I knew it wasn't going to be as over the top as the original, and I was okay with that. I knew it was going to be retooled from G-Axis, and I was okay with that. Fundamentally, Legacy Vector Prime is a sound figure, but there's just no presence to this thing. Legacy Vector Prime just lacks all his predecessors' sense of grandeur and grace. Like, yeah, the articulation is a lot better, but that doesn't matter too much when it's just so blech. Everything feels like an animation error version of Vector Prime. It's just so stripped down. No giant shoulder pads, no wrist pads. I mean, how are you gonna bust sick kick flips without them? No mistletoes, nothing. I normally love Legacy, but the worst aspect of it was the obviously wonky retooling. And this is the worst example in my opinion. Maybe an upgrade kit could save him? Also, Walmart have just announced a bunch of new figures for Cybertron characters for Age of the Primes in celebration of the show's 20th anniversary. Perhaps all is not lost? Who knows? I never have any luck in Walmart anyways. Well, what about you? How do you feel about Vector Prime, both the original or even his new figure? Because there are some people who do like his legacy figure. Let me know in the comments and please subscribe.
Knowledge.
Beware of the big green dragon that sits on your doorstep. He eats little boys.